Welcome back to another episode of Stacking Dennys. I'm Jordan McAbee of RotoBaller. My co-host Nick Giffen of the Action Network. William Byron puts on a dominating performance at Martinsville to lock himself into the championship for knocking out our boy Christopher Bell. In the meantime, setting up a JGR versus Hendrick Motorsports for their first next-gen championship opportunities. As we got William Byron, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, and Chase Briscoe as the final four drivers of this 2025 Cup Series season. Ryan Blaney comes home second after starting 31st and charging through the field, leading 177 laps. But it was Byron who bumped him out of the way late, led 304 laps, won both stages, and won from the pole. Nick, what'd you think of that race? Because everything about that for me was great. I was more focused on Todd Gilliland and his run, but everything about that race, Martinsville delivered. I'll say that.
Yeah, I thought it was arguably the best Martinsville race of the next gen era. I still think the Ross Chastain wall ride probably does it for me, just because of how crazy it was. But also, like, that Martinsville race in 2022 was a good one. There was some, a lot of passing and comers and goers and stuff like that. But I think it's right up there with the wall ride for me in terms of best Martinsville race of the next gen era out of 8 now. So very entertaining race. Ryan Blaney, like you said, amazing drive through the field, led a bunch of laps there after he kind of regained the lead after some strategy stuff. But then Byron with the move on Blaney, the move of the season so far, just in terms of defining the season. That was a championship potential pass. He got the underneath Ryan Blaney fair and square, gave him a little bump because Blaney kind of closed the door a little bit. Totally fair and square. Ryan Blaney even said so. Great move. He would have done the same thing himself. Mm-hmm. And William Byron is into the final four at the expense of Christopher Bell, who did not get the stage points he needed relative to Kyle Larson and did not get the finish he needed relative to Kyle Larson. So unfortunately, those bets I had on Christopher Bell to win the championship go down the drain. And it's crazy because if you look at the playoffs, the 10 race playoffs, and we've had 9 races, the last 8 races, Christopher Bell's average finish is 4.75, and he doesn't even make it into Phoenix. I mean, it's incredible. He's had the best average finish, I believe, of all playoff drivers. And, drivers that even were in the playoffs at one point. So of the 16, best average finish in terms of the 9 races, and he doesn't make it to Phoenix. He even has a win in the playoffs. Kyle Larson makes it to Phoenix without a win in the playoffs, and with a first round that had finishes of 19th, 12th, and 32nd. Plus, he finished 26th at Talladega in this round, right? So Christopher Bell goes 3.87 in finishes and doesn't get in over Kyle Larson, goes 2.26.5. That's just pretty bonkers, and that goes to show regular season, getting those wins, those stage points, I should say those playoff points for winning a stage and for winning races is what did the difference for Kyle Larson.
Yeah, it was another somewhat down day for Toyota. We mentioned that at New Hampshire that they struggled and Bell finished 7th, but Hamlin and Briscoe both blew engines. And overall, Bubba Wallace looked great in practice. He was not good in the race. He got roughed up there a few times. But Ty Gibbs fell back from his second place starting position. Tyler Reddick wasn't that great. Toyota, I'm very curious to see what they bring to Phoenix because 2 races on this tire, they have not looked good. Like I said, New Hampshire and Martinsville. But absolutely, for sure, Hendrick Motorsports brought the speed. Chase Elliott had one of the best cars all day. William Byron obviously dominated the race, and Kyle Larson was up there all day as well. Hendrick, once again at Martinsville was the team to beat.
Yeah, down day for Toyota, up day for Chevy and the Fords. I mean, especially, like you said, Ryan Blaney and Todd Gilliland among them. But also Josh Berry coming in with a top 10 result. Joey Logano ran strong all day.
Ryan Preece.
Ryan Preece ran really strong. Got a 6th place finish. Looked like he was going to contend potentially for a podium there at one point. So really strong day for Ford. And it's the same thing we saw at New Hampshire. And the thing about New Hampshire and Martinsville is they're both true ovals, right? 180-degree turns on each end and 2 perfectly straight straightaways. Phoenix is not that. So whether that translates to Phoenix or not, it remains to be seen. At Gateway, Toyota was amazing, and that's not exactly a true oval, but it's like an egg-shaped-ish flat oval, 1.25 miles, and Toyota's really good there. Obviously, 1-2 finish with Hamlin and Bell. So we'll see. We'll see if that carries over to Phoenix or not. The Toyota struggles on these short flats and the Chevy and Toyota dominance over those last 2 short flat races.
Yeah, you mentioned New Hampshire, Penske, Team Penske with Josh Berry as a satellite team finished 3 of the top 4 there. Obviously, Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano did not make it. But William Byron finished 3rd in that race. Chase Elliott finished 5th. So Hendrick definitely strong over there at New Hampshire as well. So, but yeah, we got Phoenix this weekend, obviously closing out the season, determining a champion. Quite a few on track. Going back to Martinsville, though, quite a few on-track instances, especially with the Spire cars and the future Spire cars. Hocevar, I feel like, was in 4 wrecks.
At least 3, maybe 4, yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Suarez was getting roughed up and roughing up his future teammates. Michael McDowell got into him. Hocevar got into him. Just an interesting day overall with how that whole race played out. SVG came away with another top 15 finish. I'll tell you what, not to look ahead toward 2026, but he is one guy I want to see how he does in 2026, because the way that they are performing to end out this 2025 season is, I would say, promising.
Yeah, it's promising for sure. But of course, he still had that 4-race streak of Darlington, Gateway, Bristol, and New Hampshire to start the playoffs with no finishes better than 25th. Right. So those kinds of things can't continue to happen. But there's no doubt he's made progress in the second half of the year on the ovals. You go back to the incidents, and it seemed like Hocevar was in every single one, or Daniel Suarez, or Eric Jones, or Cody Ware losing another wheel. I feel like that's happened 2 or 3 times this year where he's lost a wheel. So seems like it's some of the same guys in the same incidents, and it really weird dynamic with both Suarez and McDowell getting into Carson Hocevar, as they'll be all teammates next year, like you said. Justin Haley, by the way, going back to Colleague for the Truck Series, and Colleague is doing away with their Xfinity program. So got all the clarity there on that situation now with Justin Haley. But I think just from Martinsville, it was a great Martinsville race. Again, I think it's a spot where we could have seen some team manufacturer dynamics come into play, and they really didn't. It was overall pretty good. I think the worst case of team dynamics coming into play was actually negative dynamics when Ty Gibbs wouldn't help Christopher Bell out, but then he just let, I forget who it was, somebody go. That was a Chevy. I think it was Larson. Just put up no fight against Larson. Put up a harder fight against his own Toyota teammate of Christopher Bell. Weird.
Yeah, just he has one good week, and then people are like, "Oh, he's coming around," and then he does that. He is who he is. That's all I'll say about Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty interesting, but I think for the good of him and his team and his grandfather's team and the namesake, you got to be a good teammate this weekend. Not to get too far ahead in the Phoenix, but it's probably important to do the right thing here. Hey, look, Denny Hamlin was just voted as one of the top 5 most popular drivers. They're whittling it down. You don't want to anger a pretty sizable fan base. Denny Hamlin has really grown his fan base from kind of negative to now a top 5 fan favorite. So yeah,
I'd call him polarizing, because you either hate him or you love him.
Absolutely. And he's super polarizing, but you don't want to anger that portion of the fan base. And you also want to, at the end of the day, Joe Gibbs Racing wants to say they have another crown, another title, another cap in their feather, because all that stuff gets compared and added up over time when we talk about the greats of the sports, and not just in drivers, but in owners and manufacturers and teams and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear Gibbs's comment after the race, or maybe it was, I think it was on the cool down lap on his radio?
Mm-mm.
Basically bitching about corporate racing. how he has to act and help his teammates. He was bitching
Who
about
fucking
that.
who? My God. I mean, we all hate like team orders or just like outright collusion or lack of trying, but it's different when your teammate is trying to battle you and he's going for the championship out of it. It's not really going to do anything major to just cede that position. But, it's not like anything we saw last year where there was just outright collusion between teams and manufacturers. So good Martinsville race.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed by that race. There's always concerns about short track package and Martinsville in general. We've seen some duds there, but overall, I mean, you could pass here. There were good cars, and NASCAR got what they wanted with the drama, with Byron, being in a must-win situation and going out there and taking it, and knocking out one of the big four. But like we said last week, all 8 of those guys could have a reason to be in the championship 4. And it is going to be a very good battle here with a bunch of very deserving guys. I think I saw the stat. Byron was the regular season champion. Denny Hamlin has the most wins. Chase Briscoe has the most top 5s. And then there's Kyle Larson. I feel like Kyle Larson right now is not the odd man out, but he's somewhat of the underdog in a way, like not betting odds wise, but nobody's really talking about Kyle Larson. And this is still Kyle Larson. Like if he goes out there and wins another championship, nobody's going to be surprised. So I think I'm excited for Phoenix, and Martinsville put on a hell of a show, and with how good that race was, I think it's going to be tough to follow up with this championship race as big as it is, because that was just so, once again, epic at Martinsville.
Yeah, and you're right. Nobody is talking about Larson, really. I mean, I did run in hot earlier today, and Denny Hamlin is the guy with the most wins this year. William Byron just won Martinsville. Chase Briscoe, you could say Phoenix is arguably his best track, or right up there with it as his best tracks. I think Darlington probably, but it's kind of quiet on the Kyle Larson front, but he's still Kyle fucking Larson. So yeah, it'll be interesting. We've got a championship 4 that's 2 JGR and 2 Hendrick and no Fords.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think either of us was going to be surprised if a non-championship 4 driver wins this race. We went for however long with this format where, they're going to win the race. I'm not going to say that it's more likely that a non-championship 4 driver is going to be or win on Sunday, but I would say it's almost a coin flip in my eyes that a non-championship driver wins this race.
I wouldn't say a coin flip. I think it's pretty heavily weighted towards a championship driver. It would probably have to be Ryan Blaney, maybe Joey Logano. I really doubt it's going to be Christopher Bell, just because all the focus is going to be on Hamlin and Briscoe for that team. Mm-hmm. Plus, we saw
what Bell did last year.
Yeah. Plus the potential, Toyota struggles with the short flat tracks recently, and the Toyota mechanical engine gremlins. Yeah. I think it would probably have to be Blaney, maybe Logano, or like a Priest Berry type stealing it, or a Ross stealing it.
Chris Buescher.
Nah, I'm not really there on Buescher with this one. And I actually do want to talk about Buescher and Priest dynamics, because there's that all important 17th place in play still, technically. So I think Buescher probably slaps on a pretty conservative setup and just tries to drive a consistent race, and Priest goes for the upside of trying to get the W and trying to move into 17th, because Priest could technically still get Buescher, even if Buescher doesn't have a problem. If Priest gets stage points and has a strong finish, and Buescher just kind of has a mediocre day, which is why, I think Buescher is going to try to have a solid day, but he doesn't need the upside. He just needs to run back half of the top 10, and he'll be fine holding on to that 17th.
That's a good point to consider as well, because they're obviously going for that. Going back to Larson real quick. Yeah, you mentioned, or we both mentioned, like, nobody's really talking about him, but he's finished 4th or better in 4 of the last 5 Phoenix races. Like I said, like, he is going to be a factor for sure, despite, not getting the hype as it's kind of expected right now, with so much attention elsewhere, is probably the best way to put that.
Yeah. I would agree. So I think, yeah, I definitely think it's probably 2-to-1 ratio of championship driver winning to not winning this race. But yeah, I mean, Bell's chances, I think, reduce a little bit just because he's going to play nice teammate. And he is the guy that does play nice teammate. He and Denny Hamlin have kind of been on the same page with regards to Ty Gibbs this whole playoffs. Hamlin keeps bitching about how Gibbs won't even help Bell. And Bell's been bitching about how Gibbs won't help Hamlin. So I think Gibbs is going to be the consummate, professional for his team. Not Gibbs, that's Bell, I mean. And so that reduces his chances of winning there, I think. And so it really comes down to, in my eyes, to Blaney or Logano being the most serious threats, with Ross as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I lightly mentioned last year's Phoenix finale, but Bell was not in the championship race last year. He led over 150 laps in that race, but I think they had a slow pit stop or something. And after that, he kind of just backed off and let the championship guys handle it. So could see a very similar situation happen there. Although Bell has been a cheat code at Phoenix here as of late with the fastest car in the last 3 races.
Yep. He and Blaney are the clear 1-2 in the last 2 seasons when both Ford and Toyota got their new bodies, and, he still had the same body as well. So it's really been a clear Bell 1, Blaney 2 gap to the rest of the field on that front. And it's funny because Bell and Blaney are not in the championship 4.
Right.
So like of those 6, right? Like I would say it's like almost 80%, 90% that one of those 6 wins.
I agree. I 100% agree. Like you mentioned Chastain, but he's been a little off here lately.
I don't really think he's been that off. It's just, especially if we look at, again, New Hampshire, Martinsville, right? The big thing is Toyota sucked and Chevy and Ford have been good, and Ross has been good at both of those. Ross just legit finished 4th at Martinsville this past weekend, finished 9th at New Hampshire. I think we might be seeing Ross renaissance here on the short flat tracks, which includes Phoenix.
And Phoenix has been one of Ross's best tracks here lately. Remember he won that. He was the first one to win Phoenix in this format that wasn't in the championship 4.
Or any championship 4, whether it was Homestead or a Phoenix.
Right. Yeah. So 6th or better in 4 of the last 7 races here for Ross Chastain. And like you said, coming off, he finished 9th at New Hampshire on this tire as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I said, I gave out on Running Hot a Ross Chastain bet. Pretty high on him this weekend.
I'm still I'm rolling with this weekend's Halloween, and Chris Buescher is good for Halloween. So I'm still backing my boy Buescher. But I understand your points as well. One thing I want to note with this point standing. So you mentioned 17th place, Buescher ahead of Priest by 29 points. SVG is 12th, ahead of Alex Bowman, ahead of Austin Cindric, ahead of Austin Dillon, ahead of Josh Berry. I don't think he's going to be able to catch his teammate Ross Chastain, but that's pretty solid run there for SVG. Bubba Wallace 10th. And then Christopher Bell has a pretty sizable advantage over Ryan Blaney there for 5th in points.
Yeah, and if you take away SVG's 25 points for the wins, he's still ahead of Alex Bowman.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he's performed in the playoffs, especially the second half of the playoffs. Performed really well. I mean, who would have thought we're talking SVG having finishes of 10th, 11th, and 14th in 3 of his last 4 oval races.
Right. It's
really, really good.
And I was kind of I was hoping we'd get some pretty long odds for him this week at Phoenix for a top 10. I think he's like at 7-1, which I'm not gonna bet. But with the way Trackhouse is at this track, I wouldn't be surprised if he did with the way that team's running.
And I mean, we know Ross is right here. We've seen Suarez be good here in the past. I think Suarez finished, what did he finish? 10th at Phoenix last year in this race. I can't remember. Yeah, 10th at Phoenix in this very race last year. 13th in the first Phoenix race last year, 11th before that. Now, earlier this year, he didn't have a great Phoenix, but you get the idea. Trackhouse has had very strong results, even with Daniel Suarez at Phoenix. I mean, his finishes are 9th, 24th, 22nd, but 11th, 13th, 10th, and then 23rd. So it's been a little hit or miss for Suarez, but the top 10 upside has even been there for Daniel Suarez of all drivers.
Right.
And SVG has been outrunning Suarez lately by a good chunk even on ovals.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Let's see here. What else you want to talk about with these standings?
Well, there's no battle between Bell and Blaney, and that's the crazy thing, right? Like, there's no battle between Bell and Blaney for 5th, right? Bell is almost 60 points ahead. So there's no way Blaney's catching Bell, which is, again, it's just crazy because Blaney and Bell, I mean, yeah, they're 1 win apart. So and Blaney's won more stages, right? Like, Bell has just kicked everybody's ass in these playoffs, and he's not in the Final Four.
You know what's crazy about Bell?
What?
He has 282 laps led this season.
Mm-hmm.
4 wins. I don't like looking at laps led, but it's in front of me, so I'm going to use it. Just for comparison, Larson has 1,100. Byron almost has 1,300. Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin are both over 800. 282 just seems so low to me. But Bell's also one of those guys that will run like 2nd and 3rd all day, or he's out there, kicking the shit out of everybody at Phoenix.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, he has the most top 10s this year.
Mm-hmm. Most top 10s. Again, the most consistency in the playoffs. He only had 1 bad finish, and that was Darlington. And the only reason he had a bad finish, he was running inside the top 10 when on pit road, somebody made contact with him. I forget who, and it punched a hole in his splitter. He would have probably top 10 to the whole playoffs without that, which is incredible. And if we look at the season-long point standings, just if we had no playoffs, William Byron would be 11 ahead of Kyle Larson right now. Christopher Bell would be 3rd with 25 points back, William Byron. So obviously we know Denny Hamlin missed a race, but he's still 103 points back. That shows the inconsistency of that Toyota camp right there, because Briscoe's 95 back, Hamlin's 103 back. They're 6th and 7th. Even Chase Elliott is ahead of them, and of course Ryan Blaney. So, Christopher Bell has been super strong, but in the season long points right now, it's Byron 1, Larson 2.
Mm-hmm. All right. Manufacturer standings. Chevrolet has a 26-point lead on Toyota, and Ford is 106 points back. I was kind of surprised, but then when I thought about it, I'm really not. Ford only had 6 wins this year, and obviously if they get Phoenix, they'll get 7. But Chevrolet with 15 wins this year, Toyota with 14. Just something to note.
Yeah. Let's see. Most wins this year, Hamlin 6, then SVG 5. Then a few drivers at 4, a couple drivers, I think, at 4. Bell. It looks like who else has 4? Byron. No, he has 3. Larson has 3.
Only Bell has 4.
Briscoe has 3. Okay, yeah, so only a few drivers. Briscoe 3, Blaney 3, and then it's, I think, a bunch of 2 or 1 win drivers.
How surprised are you by Tyler Reddick's 0 wins this year?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I thought 2311 was going to have over 1.5 wins, but they have 1, and it was from Bubba Wallace at Indy. Mm-hmm. I think the line was 1.5, or maybe it was 2.5 preseason. I bet the over on Toyota wins, which cleared easy. It was over 8.5, and they're at like you said, what was it, 14 or 16?
Yeah, 15. Like
yeah. But that did not come from the 2311 camp or the Legacy camp, but we weren't really expecting a win from Legacy. But Bubba Wallace is behind Tyler Reddick in the season-long points, but I feel like Bubba has been closer to so many more wins than Reddick in some ways.
He's definitely ran better. I mean, obviously he had the best car at Richmond. He had the best car at Indy. I feel like there was a couple more races there where he had maybe not the best car, but a top 3 car.
Yeah.
I'm fully on board with that. I think Bubba outran Reddick this year, no matter what the actual numbers and results say. I think Bubba had a better year than Tyler Reddick did for sure.
I agree. And, Bubba had that DNF at Bristol, which I think is partly what tanked him here in the playoffs. And he just didn't quite get the, I don't know. It's weird. He just hasn't quite gotten the stage points in the playoffs that he got in the regular season, which is why he's 40 something points behind Tyler Reddick. I think one of, the DNF being the main reason, but also just some stage points. It's been a little bit of a fade to the end of the season for a guy that ran really well for most of the year on Bubba Wallace.
Mm-hmm. But I do think there's still plenty of upside there, obviously depending on what happens with this whole 2311 front row lawsuit in NASCAR. Obviously there's a lot of information coming out today. Yeah.
Well, real quick before we get to that, I just want to say, like, the top 11 in points are the clear top 11. I mean,
sorry, you broke up there on my end.
Oh, I was going to say the top 11 drivers in points are the clear top 11. You could argue the order a little bit, right? In terms of like quality. Like, I don't think Joey Logano's been the 8th best driver, but he's 8th in points because we have these, varying points resets and stuff. Like, I would put Bubba Wallace ahead of Tyler Reddick, and I would put Chase Elliott ahead of Reddick, and but then I'd probably put Reddick ahead of Logano, and then you'd be arguing between Logano and Chastain for that 10th and 11th spot. But those 11 are the clear 11 best. I know Bowman's had a rough year, especially in the playoffs, because I think he would be probably 12th if we had, an overall, him and Buescher probably, because Buescher didn't make the playoffs, but also got docked points for a penalty, illegal car penalty. But I think Bowman and Buescher would be an argument for that 12th best spot there.
What about Preece? I'm coming around on Preece.
Yeah, but I mean, he's 29 points behind Buescher, and Buescher had a 30-point penalty. So I think he's a clear 13th to those other drivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you look at top 10s, Buescher has 16 this year, which is more than Bubba, more than Chastain, more than SVG, same as Bowman, more than Logano, more than Reddick.
Mm-hmm.
But he's more consistent than upside. So yes, I think when you're ranking these, the top 11, I'm with you. The only fringe one I could maybe take off is, Logano's the obvious one, but maybe Chastain, but they're kind of just up and down overall.
Both of them are, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Ross has a win this year.
That's true.
Yeah, at a legit track. I mean, Charlotte, the Coke 600. I mean, that's a legit crown jewel win right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was from the back too. I mean, he had the best car.
And he kicked ass. I was gonna say he had the best car. It wasn't like it was a fluky Joey Logano fuel mileage win.
Right. Yeah, if he would have started up front, like I know Byron dominated that race, but if Chastain would have started up front as well, he would have had led as much as Byron.
Wasn't Logano's win at Texas fuel mileage again? Like, I feel like it was. I don't remember it.
I don't remember either.
I feel like 2 of Logano's last 3 wins have been fuel mileage.
Just complete flukes.
Yeah. If we look, well, no, Phoenix, of course, not last year. And Vegas was a legit win. But, and then Atlanta is Atlanta. But yeah, 2 of his last 5.
Vegas wasn't a legit win.
Was it?
Vegas was fuel mileage and then Blaney blocking for him. Remember, Bell had the best car in that race.
That's right. And Nashville was fuel mileage. Okay, so 3 of his last 4 wins, I feel like, have been fuel mileage. Maybe I'm wrong on Texas this year. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like it was fuel mileage-ish as well. And Ross finished second in that race.
I know, I can't remember exactly what happened, and that's going to bug me.
Yeah,
but yeah, he only led 7 laps in that race. Started 27th. 9th in stage 2, like nothing
there.
I don't remember.
I don't have my flags in front of me, but I guarantee he probably didn't run this high in flags.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Anything else from the standings here before we set our sights here on this championship race?
I'm still looking up this Joey Logano thing. I need to do this. This is important to me. This is important to me. What was the name of that race? It was the Worth
AAA
400.
Texas 500. Oh no,
it's the Worth 400. Let me go. There's a quick summary on the Wikipedia page.
So the headline on NASCAR.com is
after a caution-filled event,
Texas attrition.
Yeah. It was kind of a non-legit win for Logano. Not that, I mean, wins are wins, right? You can't say they're not legit. Like as much as people hate her overall, and it was a field mileage race when Danica Patrick still won an IndyCar race. You can never take that away from her, right? So it's a win, but like it's still 3 of Logano's last 4 non-drafting wins have had or I should say all 3 of his last, 3 of his last 4, because the championship race at Phoenix was legit, but they've had sort of asterisks next to them, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Similar to his championships.
But again, Phoenix was legit, but getting to Phoenix was a major fucking asterisk.
Yeah.
But
all right. Phoenix.
Yeah.
Race number 36. Championship finale. Our final 4. Briscoe, Hamlin, Byron, Larson. Let's see here. Denny Hamlin is the favorite to win this race, along with William Byron, Larson, Blaney, Briscoe, that order. As far as the championship itself, Hamlin also the favorite. I'm looking at FanDuel, so these could be a little bit different, but Hamlin the favorite at plus 200, Larson's at plus 260, Byron's at plus 270, and Briscoe at plus 380. Do you agree with these, given Toyota's struggles with this tire and at New Hampshire?
Mostly I agree with these. I don't think Hamlin should be that heavy of a favorite over Larson and Byron. I think the 3 of them are probably really neck and neck for me, and then Briscoe a little bit back, but also this is a great track for Briscoe. I legit could make every single one of these drivers plus 275 and not know what to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This is a really tight Final 4. And I will say this is arguably the best Final 4 we've had since the Harvick, Truex, Kyle Busch dominance era, where it was those 3 for 4 straight years, plus one other of Kez or Hamlin or Logano, that kind of deal. This is one of our strongest Final 4s in a long time.
Which is crazy because, this is probably going to be the last, this format. This will be the last year for it.
I think NASCAR has taken off this format from, its plate. They're either going to full season, from what I'm reading, either going to full season or 10 race chase or 3-3-4 playoffs. So we'll see.
It's going to be interesting to see what they go to. But I think we're all in agreement that this is going to be the last championship race to decide it all.
Thank God. Because, one race where anything can happen, one track where certain drivers have certain edges at a single track. It does, I get it. I get you want to have that game 7 moment, as they call it, and all that stuff. And I get, upsets should happen in sports. They should. Look at, the undefeated Patriots getting beat in the Super Bowl by the New York Giants, Eli Manning. That stuff should happen. But it's also a little different with NASCAR because you're talking mechanical things and fuel and, it is a team sport, but pit crew members or weird little fluky things that aren't quite as fluky in the NFL. Maybe in a major injury, let's say Tom Brady got his head knocked off or something in the first play of the Super Bowl. That would be really unfortunate, but it's still, the players deciding it rather than mechanicals or failures or pit crews or the specific track itself or, a random trash bag getting sucked into a grill or something like that. Just weird shit can happen in NASCAR races. Plus something like David Starr just exploding with 10 laps to go and costing everybody.
Don't remind me.
Being an idiot.
Do not remind me.
Like we have Casey Mears in this race. And what is it? JJ Elliott or somebody else? Who's the other open driver that's in this race? Or I shouldn't say open, but non-full-time driver.
It is Yaley in the 44 and Mears in the 66. Yes.
And like those two are absolute professionals. I will give both of them that. I don't think we're going to see something fucking idiotic from either of those two, but you still have the fact that these teams aren't quite as reliable on probably mechanical stuff and speed. And, we've even seen it with Cody Ware and he's full-time, but it's just things can happen that really shouldn't be determining the champion of our sport in a one race deal.
I mean, we saw this last week at Martinsville, the untimely caution, that could determine a champion. Something like that could determine a champion. Absolutely.
Fuel mileage, anything. Like it could be literally anything.
And, like you said, this Final Four for the Cup Series is legit. It is 4 of the best. I can't knock that. But what I will knock with this format is if Corey Heim doesn't win the Truck Series or Connor Zilisch doesn't win the Xfinity Series. And I feel like there will be riots if those two do not happen this weekend.
Yeah, that's exactly. And the great thing about the Cup Series this year is legitimately all 8 of those final 8, even Logano, even Chase Elliott, I could argue this year was deserving. Not last year with Logano, but this year Logano has been more deserving. And I even could have argued for Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, or Ross Chastain. Maybe not so much Chastain or Reddick just because of the lack of wins on Reddick's side, but even then they've performed very well as a elite. Whereas last year Logano, I mean, he was a 17th, 18th place driver all year, but got in with 1 win and then fluked his way into the finals and then won 1 legit race. The Cup Series has been incredibly strong and competitive, but you're right. In the Xfinity, if Connor Zilisch doesn't win it, or if Corey Heim doesn't win it, or even just the fact that Lane Riggs isn't in the Final Four, he missed by a point in a crazy close cutoff for the trucks there. It just doesn't work as well it's like saying the 18-0 or 19-0, whatever it is, Patriots didn't make the Super Bowl, which again, it's still not even a great comparison because they could have just lost to the other really good AFC team. Like they lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl. So it's not even a great comparison there, but the worst one will be if Heim doesn't win it. Like that'll be the worst one of all time.
Yes. And like I said, like fans should rightfully just destroy NASCAR if it doesn't happen. And that's what NASCAR has backed themselves into a corner with this format.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think even then, if Corey Heim does not win the truck championship, I think you're even going to see the guys that relentlessly defend this format start to question it.
Yeah.
All the I can't even think their names off the top of my head, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, those guys, those media members.
Yes.
But I shouldn't all say guys either. Those media members.
Yes. So we got the 4 favorites. We got the championship drivers. Thankfully for Briscoe and Hamlin, that the qualifying order, the playoff drivers automatically go out last. Otherwise, they would be going out. Let's see here. Briscoe would be going out 11th, and Hamlin would be going out 14th or 13th. Yeah. So good for them. Those will be the final 4. But with last week's results, it kind of opens the door again for someone like we've seen some longer shots, maybe not contend for the win here at Phoenix, but definitely a top 10 finish. We saw Zane Smith finish, I think 9th here in the spring. We've seen some of these other guys, Cole Custer's had good runs here before. I don't think he's ever finished top 10. Noah Gragson finished like 12th here in the fall last year. Any longer shot guys, a Josh Berry maybe that you have your eye on this weekend. Like I said, maybe not for a win, but maybe a top 5, top 10.
I mean, definitely Ross. Ross is number one for me. He, I think he's 30 to 1 at some books, even maybe even longer. I haven't fully delved into odds yet for everything. Just yesterday was my birthday, and I got NFL going on, so I'll get to NASCAR Championship like real deep dive tomorrow and Friday for especially because I've got a special model for the championship race that I don't even use for the regular season. But Ross for sure. Maybe a Barry or a Priest. That's the other thing. Like, we have to talk dynamics of manufacturers and teams, right? And Ford has nothing. I think every single driver, other than maybe Ty Gibbs, will be respectful of the championship 4. Or maybe Hosfar, will be respectful of the championship 4, but that still doesn't mean Ford isn't going to try to go for the win, right? Because if they win, it doesn't affect the championship 4. Whereas, like, if Christopher Bell passes Denny Hamlin and it causes Hamlin to get loose and Kyle Larson slips under him, then all of a sudden Hamlin loses the championship. Well, it doesn't really matter for Ford. So I think you got to look at the Ford drivers, the really strong Ford drivers. And yes, Chris Busch, like you said, I do think he'll try to have maybe a more consistent setup, and Priest will go for more upside. But also, like you said, Josh Berry, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney. But in terms of long shots, for me, number one is Ross Chastain, especially given the recent performance at the short flats.
That makes sense. I still like I don't hate Todd Gilliland this week. After where he ran, he has 3 straight top 20s here. He's going to have a good qualifying draw.
Yeah.
And while I was doing that, I have FanDuel pulled up right here. He's 27 to 1 for a top 10, which obviously I like. FanDuel officially hates me. I can't get more than $10 down on that.
Damn. I haven't tried yet, but I bet I'm limited to like $30-$40.
God.
Let's see. I mean, I could check right now. I know my limits are definitely a fraction of the full limits. Let's see, what can I get down? NASCAR. NASCAR, not Cup Championship, outright race betting. Oh my God. Work. Please just work. Why is every app so slow these days?
It's so bad. Bet MGM especially. And I love MGM properties. Like, that's where when I go to Vegas, that's where I go. But
I can only get like less than $40 on it.
Oh, nice. I can't even like, so last week I did my Todd Gilliland parlay with NFL game.
Mm-hmm.
They won't even let me do it this week. Max wager $0.
Wow.
Okay. Add FanDuel to the list.
Damn, dude.
God.
I mean, to be fair, my accounts are newer and fresher. So that
because you were in Nevada because of that.
So is what it is. It's what happens when you move.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. The first Phoenix race this season. Going back to it. Do you feel like with that being in February and this being in November, that the same track?
You're gonna have to repeat that because all of a sudden you cut out for me.
With the first Phoenix race this year being in March, I originally said February, but it's March. And this one being in November, are they so far apart that they're essentially 2 different races despite being at the same track in your mind?
Yeah, I would say so. I still think we'll see the Penske possibly Bell dominance, but again, probably got to downgrade Toyota a little bit. But yes, I mean, I think they're so far apart, and now we're going to, different tires or just changes throughout the season. Yeah, I don't fully consider them essentially the same race.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's definitely guys that perform better in the fall as opposed to the spring as well. Plus, you have the whole aspect of which drivers are actually going to try and race, because that is always a factor in this race. Guys,
and it's not like back in the day where Pocono was first race was 3 weeks apart from the second race or something.
Mm-hmm.
This is, like you said, this is such a wide gap, and there's motivational differences. RFK could be testing, or this, that, the other team could be testing. There's, again, differences with manufacturers and motivations to help or, not help certain drivers. So yeah, it's definitely a different race.
Speaking of testing, are you making anything of Briscoe and Hamlin blowing their engines last week? Or you think that's just coincidence?
I don't know. I don't know. It is interesting that the 3 Toyota drivers that had issues were Riley Herbst, Hamlin, and Briscoe, but not the ones in contention still.
Right.
So Christopher Bell being the only one still in contention to try to advance. All the other Toyotas had their fates already sealed. So tough to say.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I know they asked Hamlin about it on his podcast, and he basically said it was not anything like that. It's just, I also noticed that, did you see Hamlin has a new paint scheme this week, and there's a lot of conspiracy going on that they're doing what Hendrick Motorsports has been accused of in the past, and that's switching the paint scheme a little bit to maybe try and get something small through the detectors, the eagle eye.
I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, if you go to, I think they tweeted out the new paint scheme, and you can there's subtle differences with it, and all the replies are just like, oh, so this car is fully cheated up.
Yeah, I haven't seen it at all, but I mean, wouldn't surprise me. By the way, Denny Hamlin hasn't tweeted since October 24th, and that was a reply, but hasn't made a main account, non-reply tweet or retweet since October 20th. And that dude's always on Twitter, so I don't know. Just kind of weird.
Think it has anything to do with the lawsuit? I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was. I'll say that. Yeah. Going back to the March race this year from Phoenix, Christopher Bell won after he started 11th. He led 105 laps, led the most laps on the day. Second most laps led was Byron from the pole. He led 83. Logano led 81 laps starting outside pole, and then Priest led 34 laps. Hamlin finished second. Larson finished third. Josh Berry finished fourth. Buescher was fifth. Byron sixth. So championship driver wise, Hamlin finished second, Larson third, Byron sixth in this race, and then Briscoe was I think he had issues. Yeah, he finished 35th. So he wrecked or something.
Yeah.
So it was definitely competitive with these 4 drivers. I mean, Briscoe was Briscoe, but with at least 3 of the drivers being in contention in the first race of this season. So something to keep an eye on there. Last year, Logano won it from second. I saw a stat. I need to look this up. Fill some time while I look up this stat. I want to make sure I say it right before I bring it up.
All right. Well, actually, while you're doing that, I don't have a wine about it this week, but I do have a wine that I got that's really cool. Always shout out to Luvabella Wines, but I did have to give a shout out to my girlfriend. Yesterday was my birthday. She got me the complicated Pinot Noir, which is Avril Lavigne's wine that she released last month in collaboration with Banshee, and I'm not a Pinot Noir guy. Like, I do like my reds. I more tend towards the Cabs and the Merlots. It's a little light for me, but it's very good. So had to take a sip of that while we do that. But I don't have a Luvabella wine about it. Like, Martinsville is great. Our championship 4 is well deserved. The biggest wine about it, Jordan, like you said, could have to be in the Trucks or Xfinity series if things don't go Heim or Zillish's way.
Mm-hmm. So 5. Okay. The number of races. Do you know what stat I'm talking about here? The number of races recently that have been won from a top 2 starting position. Have you seen this?
I have not seen this.
Right now it's like 6 straight. And then I'm going back. There was a 4th place starter and a 9th place starter. I'm back to Darlington.
Wow.
In August. But every other race has been won from a top 2 starting spot, including Talladega, including Daytona. So now I'm back to Daytona.
I'm just gonna, I can open it up real quick and just do a quick filter.
Yeah, do that.
It'll be easy. 1, and then just look at the starting spots. So obviously Martinsville. You said not Kansas, not Bristol. Oh, wait, I don't have the road courses in this set because I always filter out the road courses. I need to get my other data set. But yeah, just on the ovals, including Talladega, we have Martinsville, Talladega, Las Vegas, not Kansas, yes, Loudon, not Bristol, yes, Gateway, yes, Darlington, not Richmond. I don't have Daytona in there, but I believe that was
it was Blaney from the poll.
Blaney poll, yeah. Because I removed the non-draft, or I moved the drafting ovals too. Yes, Iowa, yes, Indy, not Dover. So like you have to go all the way back to Dover, basically, where there's only Richmond, Bristol, and Kansas for any oval. That wasn't won by a top 2 starting position.
And the 3 were so Kansas, Chase Elliott started 4th.
Yep.
Bristol Bell started 9th.
And Austin
Dillon started 11th. Every other race since over the last what?
Yeah, since Dover.
Since
Dover
July.
July
20th has been won, and a lot of second place starters winning. It's not the pole, it's second place a lot.
Yeah.
So
I didn't look at the road courses, but I'm assuming it's just like SVG starting on pole and winning all of them.
No, it was so at Charlotte Roval, SVG started 2nd, and at Watkins Glen, he started 2nd. So 2 more second place starts getting wins.
Yep. Makes sense.
Interesting. So whoever starts 2nd this weekend, I think I might bet on if I'm allowed to.
Yeah, but I mean, it has also been Hamlin from pole twice and Byron from pole once.
Yes.
If Hamlin gets pole, watch out.
So that's a good segue. All right, who is your champion this year? Who's your champion, and who are you rooting for?
Yeah, we literally addressed this on Running Hot as well, and I'm gonna just give it straight. I am rooting, and I think I in general, the whole Final Four. I'm not like a massive Kyle Larson fan or anything, but I don't dislike him. I like Chase Briscoe, especially after I met him and interacted with him at Las Vegas. He's really cool. I got this because he pointed out my Casey Kane shirt. He was like, "Oh, I love that Casey Kane shirt." Because I met him at Bob Pockrass's tweet up, and he was the guest. And he literally was like, "Yo, dude, great shirt." We talked for a bit. He signed my Starbucks cup, so I think I have the only signed Chase Briscoe coffee cup in the world. So I like him. I like William Byron. He's driving the 24. I've always been a Jeff Gordon fan. But I'm rooting for Denny Hamlin. You know me. I've always been a Hamlin fan. I had my Hamlin hat back in the day. He was winning me just like shit tons of DFS money. So I'm rooting for Denny Hamlin. But when we go to my pick to win the championship, it's one of those situations where it's so close that I'm just going to go Denny Hamlin. Going Denny Hamlin. He's got the most wins this year.
So you're going Denny Hamlin and you're rooting for Denny Hamlin.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm also rooting for William Byron because there was a certain sports book that's more local that forgot to close odds after qualifying at Martinsville, and William Byron was 25-1 still to win the championship. So I bet that it's not a national sports book or anything like that. So I'm also rooting for Byron on that front.
Did you see the mistake that Caesars made yesterday?
No, I didn't.
I was not quick enough. I got a DM about it and I saw it 10 minutes later and they already fixed it. But they had Briscoe top 10 instead of minus 325. They had plus 325. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that'll get you banned from Caesars. I mean, if I got banned from motorsports at Caesars, I wouldn't have been able to bet it anyway. But I got banned from motorsports at Caesars because I hit Robert Schwartzman bets and stuff. So in IndyCar, and they're like, "Fuck you, you're done with motorsports." So I just track Caesars now to help other people get good lines at Caesars.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I'm still in that phase of Caesars where they, no matter my bet, they review it.
I can get down at least on like NFL and stuff. I mean, I have no problems with any other sport. It's just motorsports and banned at Caesars, but I still try to help everybody get the best line at Caesars for, like my action app stuff or running hot picks or whatever. They were not happy with me crushing IndyCar this year.
Yeah. That'll do it. You have some, I mean, I think there's one book that doesn't limit me anymore. Two. MGM and DraftKings are the only two that haven't limited me. That's sad. There we go.
Caesars, remember? Like just from day one, just destroying Caesars. Kyle Kirkwood, 20-1, $1,250 bet on it.
Hell yeah. All right. To answer the question, my wallet is rooting for Chase Briscoe.
Yes, because of your accidental bet on him.
Yeah, because of my accidental bet. I personally am rooting for I'm rooting for Denny Hamlin. Is this full circle or what? This podcast started because of my hatred for Denny Hamlin, and now all of a sudden I am rooting for Denny Hamlin to win the championship.
Let's go.
Mainly the lawsuit, and just I like him. I like his persona now.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm rooting for Denny Hamlin.
He was kind of a bitch, for many years, which is I understand why you didn't like him. And he would choke and he would speed on pit road and stuff. But man, he is late career renaissance in terms of not just performance, but just the way he's flipped everybody's attitudes about him. I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, I liked him through the bitch phase too, but yeah, let's go. So, let's fucking go. And here's the thing. We all know Denny Hamlin is a Hall of Famer, probably a first ballot Hall of Famer, even without a championship, but that would be the feather in the cap. That would be so cool to see for honestly, one of the greats of the sports. I mean, Kevin Harvick has won the championship, and Denny Hamlin has the same number of wins as Harvick.
The only knock anybody has on Denny Hamlin right now is his no championships. That's it.
That's literally it.
We've got to the point where I'm rooting for Denny Hamlin, but my official pick to win the championship, and it's because nobody's talking about him, is Kyle Larson.
Yep. I fully agree with that. I think the most talented of the Final Four is Kyle Larson for sure.
And like I said, I just feel like the weeks that nobody talks about him are the weeks that he goes out there and just beats the shit out of everybody. So I'm worried about the Toyotas. I agree. I agree. I'm very worried about that.
I am too. But Hamlin has the paint scheme potential glitch there.
Mm-hmm. And I will say I did bet Bell because he opened 10-1. I bet that. I'm not gonna pass up Christopher Bell at 10-1. at Phoenix. Like, despite all that could happen, I had to take that.
They also had his car prepped for this race, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know he wasn't going to make Phoenix until the final laps at Martinsville. So that thing was already prepped and ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, so, Denny Hamlin, top 10 all time in NASCAR Cup Series top level wins, is a surefire Hall of Famer. The only knock, like you said, that people could have on him is not having a championship. But I mean, the dude just produces. Kevin Harvick, again, also had 60 wins in 826 starts. Denny Hamlin has 60 wins in 718 starts. So far fewer starts than Kevin Harvick. Denny Hamlin has the same number of wins.
And he's had a great season, like a very quiet 6-win season.
Yeah. Most wins. There's not much you can say. Like, he's arguably the best driver in NASCAR right now. I know Larson's the most talented, but it doesn't just come down to that as a whole. I will say this. I think Denny Hamlin might be the most motivated of the four, too.
100%. Oh, yeah. He wants NASCAR to look like complete idiots.
Justin, the fact that this is probably one of his last few shots at it ever.
Mm-hmm. You know what's interesting, looking at the numbers. So Hamlin, he has not had 6 or more wins since 2020 when he had 7. Mm-hmm. He had 6 in 2019. Then you have to go all the way back to 2010, and he had 8. But every other year, it was less than this. But this year, his average finish is 14.2, which outside of 2022, when it was 15.5, this is his worst average finish since 2014.
Yeah, but a lot of that again comes down to the downside just of our current day of racing.
Mm-hmm. He also missed that race this year. Can't forget that.
Yep.
So noteworthy. But yeah, I'm definitely rooting for Denny Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin's 3 wins behind Kyle Busch. If he gets 3 wins over the next 28 starts, he will have tied Kyle Busch for 63 wins in 746 starts. So that's very doable for Denny Hamlin. By the end of his career, Denny Hamlin could be, a top 7 or 8 driver in all-time wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I the championship would definitely just cement him and
an already Hall of Fame career into,
right.
I mean, something. He would have to catch Dale Earnhardt for 8th with 16 more wins. It sounds like he might have another 2 or 3 years. I think it's 2 more years on the extension. And then would he ever drive for 23-11? So I think he passes Kyle Busch, even though Kyle Busch is still racing. I think he passes Kyle Busch. The question does he get Dale Earnhardt with 76 wins? Probably not. But hey, if the guy in front of you is Dale Earnhardt, you're a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
You're a Hall of Famer.
Exactly. Oh. All right. So you got Hamlin as your pick. I got Larson, and we're both rooting for Hamlin. So
yeah. I like the Larson pick. I do.
All right. Is Hamlin your pick to win the race then? After last week, you had Blaney last week at Martinsville. He finished 2nd. I had Bell, who finished 7th. So average finish this year, according to our over these 35 races, we also had that one random generator at Talladega too. But average finish this year, 11.91, me 12.00.
God damn. 0.09 apart.
Yes. This is like let me do the math here and see if I pick the winner and you pick 5th place, I win the average finish. You got me on wins, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 wins. I have 1. I have 5. So I could tie you.
You could tie me on wins, and you could leapfrog me with 4 places better in finish.
Yep, exactly.
Wow. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm going Denny Hamlin.
Ooh.
And you're going Kyle Larson, right?
Nope.
Blaney.
I picked Bell almost every week this playoffs to will into your winning ticket. That didn't fucking work. So yeah, I'm going Blaney.
There you go.
I think Ford's gonna bring it.
Bring it. Yep.
There was a reason everybody
to finish. I just need Denny Hamlin to finish 4th or better.
There we go. All right. DraftKings.
I'm perfectly okay with Ryan Blaney first, Denny Hamlin second. Win the championship. Win the picks to win. Let's go.
Oh, we didn't do 36 for 36.
Well, we already had those entered in, but yeah.
Yeah. Do that quick. So after last week, I'm at 933 for the year. You're at 790.
Yeah,
I have Bell. And you have Cindric. You know, it's actually good that we picked non-playoff drivers for the slash race, because isn't the official points awarded no stage points for playoff drivers?
Yeah.
So it actually ended up working that Bell didn't make it for me, or else I wouldn't get max points.
Yep.
But that will close out that 36-36. Okay, so I was supposed to go first with picks to win.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We were setting our drivers.
Right. Okay, so Blaney and Bell are underpriced because they're not in the championship 4. So I'm gonna have a very difficult time, especially not picking Blaney, and probably not Bell either. So give me Blaney, Bell, give me Busher. Come down here to the lower price guys. Give me. I really like John Hunter Nemechek on the short flats this year. He doesn't qualify well, but he ends up finishing well usually. So I'll go John Hunter Nemechek. I like Ryan Preece for the same reason. I was hoping to get to Barry. I could go Gilly instead of Nemechek and then go Barry. Or I could go Custer and go Chastain. I'm going Custer and Chastain. Blaney, Bell, Chastain, Busher, Preece, Custer. Final answer.
Like it.
And yes, I realize that's probably not a great lineup because I have no playoff driver in there.
Right. But I don't care. So you had Blaney, Bell.
I'm still pissed off at myself last week from DFS because I put in 2 lineups. Now, obviously, I did well on my bets last week. It was a very fun race. DFS-wise, I put 1 lineup in my private contest, and then 1 lineup in all the other contests I entered. So, I put that in 12 different times, and I put this one in here.
Yeah.
The one I put in my private contest, I won. It was I got 430 points or something. Basically would have finished top 3 in every single other contest if I would have just put it in there, but I didn't. So
what did you say your lineup is? Blaney, Bell,
Chastain, Busher, Preece, Custer.
Chastain, Busher, Preece, Custer. Okay. I'm going Blaney, Bell, Barry.
There we go.
Gilly, Nemechek, Ross.
Ooh. Okay. So we both got Blaney, Bell, Ross. You had Nemechek, right?
Yeah, Nemechek, Gilly.
Yep. And Barry. Cool. There we go.
Yeah, it's just really hard to fit Blaney Bell and a championship driver. Then you're like, well, which one?
Right. Yeah, that is.
I think the interesting way to go would be Blaney Bell, Briscoe, just because of his pole qualifying and potential to start on the pole there,
mm-hmm.
and lead a bunch of laps that way. And let's say you punted with Gilly or something, then you'd have 6,500 left over for two drivers. And if it went Nemechek, you could get up to Priest for sure. So, who's at 6,000 SVG? Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough week to fit Blaney Bell and a playoff driver.
Yeah, I think when qualifying and everything shakes out, I think you're gonna end up picking one of Bell or Blaney, and then a championship driver, or maybe even two championship drivers.
Yeah, possibly. Just depends on how it all shakes out.
Mm-hmm. What did we do know this week? Practice on Friday, qualifying on Saturday, race on Sunday. So practice on Friday evening starts at 5:30, and then qualifying starts at 5 on Saturday.
Big advantage to those going out last.
Yep. That means it's gonna be another late Saturday night for me. Get the content done.
Yep. Thankfully, I'll at least be done with all my, or mostly done with my NFL stuff at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Wyatt's comment here. Last race of the season, wild how fast it's gone by. It seems like we just started Daytona. I can't believe it's. I'm fully welcoming the time off from NASCAR, but the season has also flown by.
It really has. I usually feel like NFL/NASCAR playoffs drags, but it didn't drag this time.
Mm-mm.
It felt like it went by really fast. So, I mean, yeah, fun season, profitable season, unless I somehow bomb like 20 units on this race or something. But that makes all but, again, 2 seasons for me profitable. Obviously, last year was one of the 2 that was an absolute disaster. But great season this year. I wish I didn't have the beginning of the year bad luck, because then I'd be up a lot. But I had that period from like mid-May to about 4 weeks ago where I shot up like 40 or 45 units in a 2.5 month stretch or something, 3 month stretch maybe. So really, really pleased with that. Really looking into what will happen with this lawsuit deal and the changes to the playoffs, the Chevy announcement with the body. Still a lot of stuff to come in terms of next year and how things will shake out.
We do know the pretty much silly season's over. We talked about that last week.
Some of the things we don't know, though, are the charter situations. Even in counting, like I think it's resolved. I never pay attention to a lot of the legal stuff, but like the Rick Ware legacy lawsuit, what is going to happen with charters there? I think Legacy is probably going to get the charter and loan it to Ware, from my understanding, for a year, but I don't know.
I completely forgot about that. That's how much I didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not the main Ware charter. It's the second one that I think that they're getting back or something. I don't even know. I have no idea. Maybe they're not getting it back, because isn't that the RFK charter now? I have no idea. It'll all be interesting.
Yeah. Haas is switching to Chevy.
Yeah.
I could improve Custer there.
Yep.
But all right, you got anything else?
I mean, we'll be back before you know it, right? Like it's like when your kid's in school and you have almost 3 months off for the summer. Like that's what we get, but it's just in the winter. And it's like we got all the holidays coming up. We've got Super Bowl, and then bang, we're like right into NASCAR season when the Super Bowl is done.
Yeah.
But what's really going to be crazy, Jordan, is this summer when we have the World Cup going on, because I will be one of my main things for Action Network will be World Cup focused this summer. That doesn't mean I'm not doing NASCAR. I will absolutely be doing NASCAR, this podcast with you, whatever. But World Cup is going to be like NFL 2.0 for me in terms of like focus. So I might have a little lack of focus during that time in the summer for NASCAR. But after the World Cup is over, like you said, I should probably come visit you for your the one off weekend for the Cup Series for your company thing, or not company, town thing, shindig.
Absolutely. I was just I actually just mentioned it in a group chat with a couple of my friends the other day. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to get Nick.
I mentioned it to my girlfriend the other day. So yeah,
picnic. Yeah,
yep.
That'd be awesome.
Be fun.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, good luck this weekend. Thank you all for tuning in this season and today. It was fun. Fun year.
Very fun. Absolutely. And great overall motorsports season as well with IndyCar. And there's still some Formula One going on, and the Vegas Grand Prix in a month or so, a little less than a month.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be probably having some content for that race on the Action Network side.
Nice. Make sure you check that out. ActionNetwork.com, Action app. And yeah, go Denny Hamlin. As much as it
Denny Hamlin. All right.
As much as it pains me to say, go Denny
this
Hamlin.
show is stacking Dennys because of the whole stacking pennies thing when Corey LaJoie was roasting Denny Hamlin and they had that rivalry. Denny Hamlin having a rivalry with a back marker. Like, what the hell?
Gosh.
I suggested the name Stacking Dennys, by the way, and you're like, fuck yeah.
Absolutely. Sold.
And now we're rooting for Denny Hamlin. I mean, I always have been, but now you are. It all started to change when me, you, and PJ got together for the Coke 600 a few years ago, and you and I had bets on Denny Hamlin, and he had Kyle Busch.
That just popped up in my memories not too long ago. I don't know why.
Nice.
But
it was fun.
Or I saw it somewhere. Something happened where I saw it. All right.
All righty.
Enjoy the race this weekend. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks for joining us this year.
Yep. See you guys.